your staff is your most powerful 5-star review. Patient's going to call in, is Dr. Ryan good? Like, that gets asked all the time. And so that's where it's like the staff just always has to feel that you have their back, which tough to do, but you got to do it. I really like where I work. Come on, there's sometimes they're your best recruiter too. Most offices use online scheduling, and we turned on a setting where it just auto books, and I was always against that. That was like a big hurdle for me, of just turning on the auto booking.
Welcome to another episode of Dental Marketing Go. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I'm the CEO of SMC National, where we provide predictable new patient flow for offices just like yours. And I get to live an awesome life because I get to interview awesome people. And today I meet with Dr. Ryan Morrison. He is the dentist and CEO of Millard Family Dentistry, but he isn't just a dentist. He's also a SaaS CEO as well. You're not going to want to miss that. We talk about that at the end. And the first gem, the first thing you're going to hear right out of the gate, he's going to give you one question that your team can ask that's going to instantly open up your schedule, get you more treatment, and really help your workflow in your office. So you want to stay tuned for this episode. All right, Dr. Ryan, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been seeing in the new patient market and the growth market as you're trying to grow your practice? What's been going on in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, Gary, the good news is patients, especially new patients, want to get into a dental office, but the bad news is making room, finding room, especially with the staffing shortage that everybody's been struggling with for a while. We've been having a lot of office meetings together on how to figure that out. And one of the best tactics that actually one of my front desk staff members started just doing on her own, which I thought was genius, was any new patient that comes in, we ask right away, when was your last cleaning? If it's been over maybe like 2-ish years, well, we know that there's more than 50% chance they might be like an SRP, right?
Yeah.
And so we put them right in the doctor schedule.
Sorry to disrupt the show, but I got something crazy to share with you. We are attempting to connect with all of our listeners. We have thousands of people that listen to this podcast, and we want to meet you in person. We have 4 events coming up, and I want to give you a discount code that you can use for the next week to save $300 off your ticket. The discount code is Gary Bird, and the link is going to be just down below. You can also go to smcnational.com/events. I hope to connect with you in person and help each other grow our businesses. Can't wait to see you soon.
To get x-rays, game plan, find a hygienist to do probing, do a quick exam, but to block 90 minutes for a new patient, which is what we use to get through exams, x-rays, and then tell the patient, oh, you need to come back for an SRP. Yeah. Well, you just wasted a whole ton of time. So that's something that we've started to do actually for all new patients. Ask that question right away.
So right away. So if I'm a new patient, I'm calling your office. You're going to ask, when was the last time you had your teeth cleaned?
Yep. Well, it's been about 5 years. Okay. We're going to get you on doctor's side to get x-rays, exam, get a game plan. Yeah. And we've had very little pushback, honestly. That
is actually genius.
Yeah. It's been really helpful.
Because what you're doing is you're mitigating, because kind of the old way to do it, right? So the way that people traditionally do it is, hey, let's just get everybody into the hygiene schedule because that's what people want, right? And that's what patients know that they want, but they don't know what they need. And so what you're doing is you don't want to not give them a cleaning if they don't need it, right? But there's also probably bigger issues that they're dealing with. So I think that's huge. And you haven't got any pushback from the patient side of it at all?
Once in a while, but are those the patients that you want to, is those patients you want anyways, but it's for the most part, we're seeing so many comp and FMXs on me and my partner's side. And it's
just so I understand it. So what that does is it frees up your hygiene schedule because you're short on hygienist and capacity, but you probably have room on the doctor's schedule. Is that right?
Absolutely. So, you got the 90 minutes for the new patient. Well, you essentially could open 2 blocks now for an existing patient for 60 minutes each, because other than fitting maybe like a child prophy in those 30 minutes from for that second 30 minutes in that second hour, then it's tricky. So it actually opens up moving that new patient where you're pretty sure that they're going to need a deeper cleaning. It does free up a couple slots for an existing patient.
Oh, that's so smart. That's
and
so
the beauty
smart.
about it is a couple times, and this is when I think it's like kind of when the magic happens in a dental office is, oh, I finished with a patient early, or we had a no-show. Guess what? You're just a prophy anyways. We're going to move you over to hygiene. We got time to clean you. That's where that's been really helpful for us. So then the patient's just ecstatic. This happened yesterday, actually. We new patient came in. His girlfriend comes here. He hasn't been a dentist in 5 years. Happens all the time. And needed a 4346, actually, the gingivitis cleaning, actually not an SRP, which is a great code that we're starting to use a lot. And my hygienist had about an hour to do it. And sometimes those run 75 minutes, depending on how tricky it is. Well, the patient after her was 7 years old. Well, we moved the 7-year-old over to us. And now that patient was stoked that he was able to get his somewhat deeper cleaning. Yeah. Which is key. So that you got to get creative, but it starts with just getting them into that doctor chair, actually.
So just for the audience, so how to figure this out on your side is like you've applied a filter, and it's not a filter of we don't want these patients, right? Because you don't want to ever do that. It's a filter of where we're going to put these patients, and it's one question that instantly tells you where to put the patients, and then that allows you to have more flexibility on the hygiene side. So now you can wow and surprise. So you're managing expectations.
Yes.
And instead of telling people, no, you can't come back when they're thinking they're going to, get it all done that day, you're wowing them. So that, I think that's so awesome. I haven't heard anybody else approaching the problem that way.
And Gary, you're going to have and this is where in these situations though, because this happened to me a couple weeks ago, doesn't always go perfect like this. The patient was like, oh, they told me I was going to get a cleaning today. Well, don't get walked over by the patient. Still respect the culture of your office. I tell them, no, we didn't. we didn't tell you that. And it's sometimes they'll try to get in between you and the staff, which happens to get their way, and it doesn't happen all the time, but that's where, and it took me a long time as a dentist to get to that point. I still struggle with it, but it's just no, I've worked with them for 5 years and they didn't say that. So it's, and then
let me give you, so every business deals with this. So we have people who will come on and they'll say, as clients for marketing, and we'll say, okay, here's your new website, or here's the beginning of your first stage of your website. And they go, no. I was never told that I was going to have to redesign the website. And we're like, yeah, no, that's part of our process. If we either tell you, no, your website will work great, or no, we need to rebuild it. So we use what's called Wingman. And this is eventually going to come to dental. It'll be on every single phone call. So what's really cool about Wingman is you can record every single call, but then not only just record it like the Zoom or just like we're recording right now, you can go in and you can search keywords.
Ooh. Wow.
And so we just go in and type in the word website, and we can pull up I can pull up every single sales call with the word website in it. And then obviously you find the one that you want and you go, okay, boom. And then you can clip it and send it to the client and be like, here's where we presented it to you. Right. Yeah. And so that's worked so well. And then once a client knows that we're recording every conversation and everything is documented, we document everything, then it's okay, well, I can't use that trick. You know what I mean? Or sometimes people just misremember.
It's the dental sign treatment plan.
Yeah. Exactly.
We talked to you about a year ago. Signed it.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited because that's going to come to dental like that. It's going to come to every business where every call is recorded, and then you're just going to be able to log in and just go, hey, I want to hear about any hygiene call that came from this front desk person. You'll be able to pull that call in 30 seconds out of hundreds and hundreds of calls, and then go here, and you can pull it up on your phone and just be like, bloop. Here, listen. Yep, right here. Nope, we said they were probably going to have to be on the next visit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it works really, really well. And once your staff knows that you got their back, and then once you know that technology is going to really be your safety net, patients don't try that stuff anymore. Yeah,
and that's where I have so much scar tissue with early on being an associate. There's one funny story where a friend of a friend got my cell phone number who has a toothache. And it's oh, can you see me today? And then they're 30 minutes late, and we have a 15-minute, policy. And I still find a way to see them. And then everyone, it's just, you gotta stand behind your staff. It's hard to do sometimes, but you got to.
It is. Yeah. When things kind of get out of whack is when you have, when you're over protecting the client or you're over protecting the company. That's where things can get really out of whack and even amplify the staffing problems that you're facing. 100%.
Gary, my favorite line is, your staff is your most powerful 5-star review. Their patient's going to call in, is Dr. Ryan good? Like that gets asked all the time. And so that's where it's like the staff just always has to feel that you have their back, which tough to do, but you got to do it.
Yeah. Well, and really, you're not going to lose anything, right? You might lose 1 or 2 patients here or there.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're going to gain, to your point, so many other patients because Dr. Ryan's great. He's amazing. He does a great job. Well, that comes from you taking care of them, not just taking care of the patient. Yeah. And
the staff members are on the dental group chats and, hey, maybe this assistant or hygienist is looking for a job and I really like where I work. Come on. There's sometimes they're your best recruiter too. So,
100%. Is there anything else that you're doing that's helping you grow your new patients?
Yeah. So we've turned on. I was very scared to do this early on, but most offices use online scheduling, and we turned on a setting where it just auto books, and I was always against that. Because I don't want someone else, booking without talking to the staff or something like that. Because before we would just have it a request. Hey, we're going to request this appointment.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary, I turned it on. I was like, you know what? Let's try this. Let's try to fill the schedule here. And we've had a couple 8 a.m. Monday morning toothaches that have really turned into extraction and graft and that, is it kind of annoying we got to call insurance on Monday morning and get that done if they didn't do their paperwork, but we get it done and we see the patient and they're all stoked that they got in and they got their toothache taken care of. So that was something that was a big hurdle for me, just turning on the auto booking, so
that's huge. I think that's huge. And the thing that I think people can take away from that is there's always going to be things that we're scared of that may hurt us or they may help us. And you sometimes just have to do it. And there's nothing, the cool part about digital, like in websites, anything digital, is you can turn it on. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't work and you get a couple bad patients or a couple angry patients, you turn it off and you either fix the problems and do it again or you don't do it anymore. It's not like we're permanently etching in people's brain. We're not putting up a billboard that's going to be there for the rest of our life with poor messaging. Putting, because I think a lot of people remember the phone book days where once you put your phone book ad in, that was it for the year. You didn't get to change it and they were already in everybody's hands. If you had the wrong phone number or poor messaging or wrong colors, that was it. There was no fixing it. With digital, it just isn't that way. It's okay to test things. And I love that. Have you had any downsides to it that you were like, I don't like this part?
The no-shows. That's where, we live in this digital disposable world where it's I'm going to book this, but I don't want to really, I don't want to go anymore. So I'm just not going to show up. Okay. Well, that's been hard because I do feel like if a patient does call, there's maybe that little more time that they spent with you, and that might increase the chance of them showing up where it's just, I just booked this online. I'm going to forget about it, or something's come up. I don't have to call anybody because I booked it online, something like that. So have we had a couple, but it happens when people call in anyways, you get no shows anyways, but it has been a net positive for me doing auto online booking.
That's awesome. Is there any other words of advice or things that you're dealing with that you think that would be helpful to the audience?
One cool thing one small thing that we did about a year ago that was pretty cool. We're always looking at new technology, bringing new stuff in, and it's not what you have, it's why you do it. And it's telling the story. And with my local marketing company that I use, we bought a soft tissue laser, and I was always nervous about that. I never got taught that in dental school. So that was a big hurdle that I took, and actually it's worked out really well. We had a hygienist come in on like a Friday, we just filmed her talking about the laser and what she likes about it. And it took like 30 minutes, and we got so much great content. And really, two things happened with that. Patients saw it and they asked about the laser, which was cool, but they also saw a familiar face, and it just kind of all worked out that they came in like, oh, we heard Taylor talking about the laser on Instagram. What else is it work for me? So I would say like, it's so easy to do, and we forget about it because we're always just in our day, and just taking a step back, having a staff member film about something cool technology they have will go a long way.
Yeah. And not only just posting it on social media, because you might post that on social media and get 50 existing patients to look at it. But that's 50 patients that are looking at it. And then you can also email it out. You can text it out. You can do basically you control what that patient is learning about dentistry. And there's so many things that you can do that way. Like it's almost endless, the internal marketing that you can do.
Seriously. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, why don't you, another thing, and most of our listeners won't know this, is you're not only running a dental practice, you are also running a SaaS company as well, which is no easy feat. Tell us a little bit about that product, just in how you use it in your office and how it helps you guys.
Yeah, this started about a year ago, where it was born out of our office, where we were looking for a streamlined, consistent messaging platform to explain procedure videos to patients, because it happens so many times. It really was born out of the bone graft procedure, where they need a tooth out, recommend a bone graft. They go home, they maybe Google it. It's not a fun thing to Google. They'll call back and they don't really know what it is, why they need it. So we started creating 3D 4K animated videos we have over 75 videos, and we have Spanish too, that explains crown or cracked tooth or implant, bone graft, gum disease, clear liners. And you can play it chairside. You can play it in your waiting room. You can text it to the patient. You can embed it on your office website to help with video SEO. And it's been a cool journey so far, and it's been fun to kind of build these different videos. And that's kind of what we've been working on.
That's awesome. Yeah. Where can people check that out if they wanted to look at that?
Yeah, the software is called TeamWorks, with a WORX, teamworksdental.com. And you can even set up a free account. We give 4 free videos away. So you can see 10 seconds of every other video, so you can kind of play around with it. And it's been incredibly helpful for our office and the offices that I've signed on.
It's so cool. It's a really cool product. I know we're working on, this is not a paid, just so everybody knows, this is not a paid advertisement. Dr. Ryan didn't pay to come on this podcast. I just think that what he's building is really cool. And I definitely think there's some use cases. We're trying to figure out how to use it at SMC for our clients as well.
Thank you, Gary.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. This has been really helpful. That first gem that you dropped, as well as the other stuff, was good too. But that first gem, that was a good one. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing that.
Thank you.
Awesome.